invite you all to watch out for the second installment of the FQ trilogy. Thank you to everyone who read and supported FQ Book 1. So, what is FQ Book 2 all about? FQ Book 2 is like a two-in-one book. On the front side, the cover goes, "Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work." It's disheartening, right? But don't worry, I included a crash course in behavioral economics so that we will understand the reason why. On the flip side of it, the title is The Psychology of Money. This part discusses 16 principles in behavioral economics that affect the way we deal with money. I know, some of you are already intimidated by the sound of it, but don't worry, we have the help of two interesting characters. Rational or makatwirang Mac and emotional Emong. So it will be a very fun ride going to the different experiences of our two characters so that we will understand the principles of behavioral economics without nosebleed. Along the way, you will be asked to rate yourself. How Mac am I, or how Emong am I when it comes to this principle? And then you will get your Mac Emong score or your me score after you finish all the principles. You know, I promise after reading this book, you will never be the same again. Why? Because the principles that you will learn without nosebleed are not just applicable when it comes to handling your money, but in the other important aspects of your life. So, come on, join me in this interesting FQ journey. And if you're interested to pre-order FQ Book 2, please shoot us an email at fqteam@fqmom.com or just click the link that we will provide in this post. Maraming salamat po, and cheers to High FQ!
Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. Wishing everybody a great Thursday afternoon. Thank you very much for being with us here in this book launch. So we'll be starting the program right now. But before we begin, I just like to thank our sponsor, GCash, for helping make this event possible. It's the first ever digital investment platform that allows you to conveniently grow your wealth and unlock your life goals at the press of a button. Okay, so there's a lot of great things in store for that. But first, again, let me welcome everybody here. And now that we've gotten, a bit more comfortable wherever you are, not just in the country, but wherever you are in the world right now, I want to welcome you here. And just a reminder to everybody that's with us here on the Zoom call, could I ask everybody to please keep your microphones on mute? Yes, but don't worry, we have a Q&A later so everybody can get the chance to ask their questions, to share what was their experience like reading the book. So again, could I just ask everybody to keep their microphones on mute? Thank you very much here on the Zoom call. Also want to say hello to everybody watching us live on Facebook. So again, wherever you are in the world, I want to welcome you. My name is Anton Fausto. I am son number 3. And again, I want to greet everybody a good afternoon, and I'm very, very excited we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be learning about this book in just a bit. But before we move on, I'm here. I am not alone. I'm son number 3, but joining me and hosting with me is son number 2. Hello.
All right. So, hey, everyone. Hi, my name is Enrique Fausto, son number 2, and I'm here today to join Anton to help host have an amazing program for this afternoon. So it's nice to see some smiling faces here kahit naka-Zoom lang tayo, but even amidst this pandemic, we wanted to make this FQ Book 2 launch great and for it to really work out whatever is happening around us. So just to give you an idea, FQ has been working very hard to give you this brand new book and have a really great launch also. A bit of a side cuento, actually, she took a 2-week hiatus. Like, she disconnected from all of her social media for 2 weeks and really just stayed in this room with no internet connection just to really hammer out the last few chapters of this book and to make sure it's really her best work.
Yeah. And was that 2 weeks then?
2 weeks yun. Yeah, that was
so, bago pa magka-pandemic, hindi pa uso yung quarantine. Nagawa na ni FQ Mom yung sarili niyang Kasing quarantine.
I think it was during the pandemic. She did the 2 weeks, but even before the pandemic, marami ng like chapters that were done, but just to clean
Oh,
everything together, that's what it took, a quarantine to really get
yeah.
it out.
Everybody can understand what we're talking about and be able to experience that if you haven't had the chance to read this book yet. So let us officially welcome you to the official book launch of the second book in the FU trilogy, Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work. Okay, I feel like it's time to get the party started, diba, Enrique?
All right, so at this point, I would like to call on FQ son number 1, or Martin, my Kuya Marty, to help lead us for the opening prayer for today's program.
Okay, thank you, Enrique and Anton. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. As we start with the opening prayer, let us ask everybody to please bow their heads and let's put ourselves in a prayerful mode. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear God, thank you for gathering us here today to celebrate the book launch of FQ Book 2, Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work. Amidst the pandemic, you keep us safe and enable us to continue the mission you have set for us in this lifetime. Today is a testament to the labor of love and mission of FQ Mom and the team. We also celebrate today the birthday of our dear Lola Pepay, the author's mother, who has had a profound effect on FQ Mom's own FQ and motherhood. We pray that today's launch be fruitful and joyful as we celebrate this milestone. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And to get things going, we have messages from a few people, and we'd like to introduce the first batch. First up is Mr. John Beshears, Associate Professor at Harvard Business School. He was FQ Mom's professor when she took up an executive course in behavioral economics at Harvard Business School. This was the time she and Papa experienced being campus sweethearts, because even if they were only a couple of years apart, when they were back in college, hindi pa daw sila ready. Hindi pa sila nakikita. Baka they weren't ready pa lang for each other. Mr. John Beshears is a notable behavioral economist and has done a lot of BE studies, especially in the field of how households handle their finances. Of course, summa cum laude at Harvard. Next up is Mr. Dan Ariely. He's the one who introduced FQ Mom to behavioral economics through his book called Predictably Irrational. He is a rock star, professor at BE at Duke University. He's also a TED Talk sensation, with a couple of talks having viewed millions of times. Let's hear what Mr. John Beshears and Mr. Dan Ariely have to say.
Hi, I'm John Beshears, behavioral economist and associate professor at Harvard Business School. Congratulations to Rose Fausto on her latest book, Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work, a crash course in behavioral economics. In this book, Rose does an amazing job of distilling decades of behavioral economics research into a form that is relatable, insightful, and frankly, a lot of fun to read. We owe her enormous gratitude for helping us collectively understand how we make financial decisions and how we might all reach better financial outcomes.
Hello, this is Dan Ariely, and I have been studying financial decision making for a long time. And the good news about financial decision making is that there's lots of ways we can make things better, lots of ways to actually make better financial decisions. The sad news is that financial literacy is not one of them. Simply teaching people how to deal with money has no evidence that it's working. It's very appealing. It looks like it should be working, but it just doesn't. And this is why I'm very happy that Mary Rose's new book is coming out, in which she is actually laying out the research on why financial decision making is incredibly important, and why financial literacy is not the way to go, and we need to think very differently about how to make our financial decisions better. So, to all of us, to making better financial decisions, and not just knowing what's the right thing to do, actually being able to do it. All the best.
All right. So hello everyone again. So hi, it's Enrique here. So just a bit of a trivia on these two speakers. So the first one was actually the professor of my parents, and the second one, Dan Ariely, was actually the first person that introduced this whole new field of behavioral economics to FQ Mom. And it's really interesting to actually see them be able to give their messages today. So at this point, allow me to introduce our next important speaker. Actually, you could say a bit of a keynote speech from him today. This person was the former governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas from 2005 all the way to 2017. He was a multi-awarded BSP governor, central banker of the year, central bank governor of the year in years 2006, 07, 2011, 2012, 2013, and he's now the chairman of ASERD, or the Ateneo Center of Economic Research and Development, where FQ Mom also sits as a director of that board. So without further ado, let me introduce former Governor Sai Tetanco.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a privilege to be part of this launching of two brilliant books, Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work and The Psychology of Money by best-selling author Rose Fausto. I wish to congratulate Rose for her timely and very relevant contribution to the country's economic and financial literature. These books commendably try to address what I believe are the most pressing economic and social issues of our time. If you ask me, the growing incidence of poverty and widening inequality have been the main drivers of the economic and financial woes our country and the rest of the world are facing today. Poverty and inequality are the silent economic and financial crisis that we all must collectively confront and urgently strive to address. This is why the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has placed financial inclusion at the heart of its advocacies. In 2015, we launched the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion in cooperation with other government agencies to set a strategic map for a unified national financial inclusion landscape. Our policies not only aim to expand financial access, but were also intended to enhance financial literacy and consumer protection. Now, more than ever, this call resounds louder as we continue to grapple with the unprecedented challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Rose responds to this call by bringing the agenda of effective finance and wealth management into the fore of our daily conversations. More importantly, she does this through the simplified lens of rational math and emotional emong. These two very relatable and accessible characters can help Filipinos discern important behavioral aspects of economics and finance, which in turn could help inform our own spending and saving propensities better. After reading through The Psychology of Money, which I found hard to put down, before finishing all the 16 behavioral economics principles, I came up with a rather interesting score. Rose had warned not to assume that your score would show you a map without going through the book. So I found out that my Emong score was not that low, at more than half my MAC score. Rose likewise responds and confronts the so-called silent crisis in her book by bravely challenging our existing beliefs and asking the right questions to arrive at certain truths. For instance, in chapter 1 of Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work, Rose eloquently makes an important distinction between correlation and causality. This discussion, along with all the other intelligent insights in her books, started with the fundamental question: does financial literacy improve financial conditions? My experience in public service taught me that the first important step to a good policy is asking the right question. This can spell the difference between a policy success and a fiasco. Formulating appropriate economic and financial policies relies largely on our ability to correctly identify existing problems and recognize underlying causal relations between variables. This in turn depends on our knack to ask the right questions. The same can be said about our financial choices. Asking the right questions can help us identify any cognitive or emotional biases that can influence our financial decisions. Our awareness of these biases can help us correct our behavior if needed and make sound and important optimal financial decisions. On that note, let me once again congratulate Rose for her remarkable achievement. May you continue to nudge, as your mentor Richard Taylor would say, every Mac and Emong in the country towards financial success. Thank you and enjoy the weekend.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tatanko, for your message. You know, I really believe that it's important for us to help each other to make sure that the message of this book reaches more people and in turn helps more people. I really like that what he said about the first important step. It is really asking the right questions. You know, to get more people involved, we have to know, what is it that we should be asking? Who should we be asking? So I really believe that we are in the process of being able to solve this problem. And it's about asking the right question. And here's someone for the next part of our program who likes to ask questions. Lagi niyang tinatanong, paano ba to? I'd like to call on one of FQ Mom's dear friends and an FQ student just like ourselves, Miss Bianca Gonzalez Intal. Hello and welcome. Hi Bianca. How are you? How's everything?
Hi, Anton. I'm good. And hello to everyone joining us in this room or watching live. Hello and congratulations to FQ Mom. Woohoo!
Woo! Thank you. Let's jump right into it. Here in the book, it's great that you have a copy as well. So there are two characters, Mac and Emo. I just wanted to ask, what would you say is your nakaka-relate ka ba whenever you read? There are many examples given kasi of what Mac would do, what Emong would do. Could you say that you were leaning more towards what Mac would do or what Emong would do?
Siguro before reading the book, and siguro those who are about to read the book, are in the middle of the book, or finish the book can relate that when you see it, Rational Mac, di ba yung name niya, Emotional Emong. Meron na tayong impression of what we are, right? So, ako, I would say I'm sort of middle but leaning emotional Emong. In my head, But I think what was so insightful, helpful, and quite frankly groundbreaking about this book is how it, aside from it being a crash course on behavioral economics, which in itself, parang wow, how do you even do that? This is a subject matter that people study for years, and right now it's available in a book, di ba? Parang super wow talaga. So, like our BSP Gov mentioned that it breaks down the 16 principles, right? And dun ko na realize na in some things, I'm definitely more Mac. At sa ibang bagay, mas Emo. So, oddly, parang after going through it, kasi honestly, mahirap yung mag-score, ha? Kasi, diba? And this is a book that I feel like, even if you read it already, kailangan mong balikan because there's just so much to absorb. And feeling ko like the way I score myself, let's say for one part, today might be different like next week. Parang
Yes, it depends
ganon.
on your mood. It depends on what's happening on that day.
Okay. It's
Oo.
good to know that you feel that way too. So
Yeah.
I'll give concrete examples. Ano.
Mhm.
For example, ito, opportunity cost neglect. Yun daw yung nai-ignore natin what we're giving up when making a choice on what to spend on. Yun na nakalagay dito. And for that one, ang lumabas, very, very rational Mac ako.
Very Mac. Okay.
Yes, like, I don't know if it's a mom skill na alam talaga
Pwede
natin
rin,
ang
pwede rin.
value ng pera. But for example, for framing effect, ito yung na-influence yung mga choice natin by the way it's presented to us or framed. Ay, sobrang emotional emo ako doon.
Mhm, mhm.
It's
There's
so
a-
hard to break.
Yeah,
It's so hard
there's
to
a
break.
lot of things with that, but I really believe that it's a getting to know yourself thing. The whole reading the book, getting to know yourself. So also, I just wanted to quickly ask this also for people, for everyone watching also about getting to know. I know you and the FQ Mom have had a lot of collaborations already. How did this whole friendship? How did the whole thing start?
I'm so grateful to her. So I have a program, a platform that I call Paano Ba To? And I remember that ABS-CBN Books got in touch with me a few years ago saying that FQ Mom has a book and would I like to interview her. I was like, of course, because it's so hard to find a financial expert that can explain things to the younger generation. Kasi even me, I'm 38. I'm a Zennial between Gen X and Millennial. Parang nahihirapan pa rin ako hindi ako magaling sa math growing up. And com student ako. So feeling ko ang hina ko when it comes to math and finances. But that first time that I met her, the way she talked about why is it so hard for us to save, and dun ko na-realize na ang laking bagay nga nung behavior versus what we know how to handle money. That's why I love it. Here in the epilogue, okay, ang hirap hanapin ngayon, but here in the epilogue, she says something like, aanhin mo yung alam mo about how to save and how to invest. Kasi we all know how to save. We all know what we should do to invest. But if hindi natin isa sa buhay, parang chismis lang yan. Is that the line? Parang ganun yung line eh. So, from that first time that I met her, I got so much good feedback on the video. And I invited her for a second time and she thankfully, gratefully said yes. And full disclosure, wala pong bayad dito kay FQ Mom. And I say that I'm so grateful because these are talks that if she would give it, I assume for a brand or for a company. Of course, there is necessary and deserved compensation. But because it's her advocacy talaga, di ba, to spread the word on financial literacy. She was so gracious. I think she's been on the video.
Many
I think
times.
oh my goodness, maybe like 3 or 4 times. She even did a Paano Ba To live with me, which was sort of like a live in-person workshop. And just recently, when I started a podcast version of Paano Ba To, we had a parang finances ng mag-asawa episode where I guested Jim Bacaro and Sab Magalona. And then I asked her, hey, do you want to send like a 1-minute audio clip on like your one advice for couples? And she sent it.
I'm guessing it was more than a minute pa.
No, in fairness, it was
okay.
1 minute and
Agaga
1
pa yung
minute and
sakto.
like 10 seconds. So not more, in fairness. But yeah, I mean, it's truly, truly in her heart to spread this message that everyone should be more aware, intentional about their finances.
That's right. And you said that, lots of things that you guys talked about, she could be giving those to brands also. She'd be doing different collaborations. But again, all those lessons, you can learn it already in this book. Now, I just wanted to ask you briefly lang, before I let you go, the recent PBB season just finished. And I know that we all know that you also joined PBB. People would believe that when you go PBB, when you go into showbiz, that is your one-way ticket to having all your financial problems solved. No, nag PBB ka na, okay ka na, you're good na. But what was your experience like? What is your opinion on that? That even if you'd imagine that, oh, I'm under the limelight, I already have the attention and endorsements and all those things. Is it still a challenge to go about with your FQ journey?
Oh, for sure. Super. 100%. I think the biggest misconception about seeing people on television is that siguro dahil naiilawan tayo, nakaayos tayo,
Mm-mm.
we speak well, we're standing okay. Everyone thinks that, or not everyone, sorry, I take that back. A lot of people think na kapag lumalabas ka sa TV, mayaman ka or may pera ka, which honestly is not necessarily true. I mean, of course, the compensation is good if you work hard, if you're given the right breaks, diba, ganyan. So, madami na ring nangyari from my journey when I was a housemate. And just a bit of a trivia, Anton. We have a housemate now. So they're like 17 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old. Nung nag-Big Four ako in my edition, 2 years old pa lang sila, yung housemates this batch.
Wow.
So that made me
Time
feel a bit
flies.
like, iba din talaga. Oo. But yeah, on a side note, thank you to everyone watching who might have supported PBB. Maraming salamat. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Bianca. And I will be looking forward to hopefully your future collaborations again with the FQ Mom. So thank you very
Sumasobra
much.
na ako. Sumasobra na ako.
No. We also like to talk about it during dinner. Last thing I'm gonna say, she would say na it's great that there's still she gets new readers, new audience, and they say, oh, nakita ko kayo sa video ni Bianca and all those things. So from the Fresh Foster family, thank you very much.
Wow.
And for reading the book and all your lessons. We will see you again next time. Thanks, Bianca.
So happy. Thank you and congratulations again, FQ Mom.
Okay, so if you guys would like to see more of these chats, what we were talking about, you can find some of the previous FQ121 sessions on YouTube under both Bianca Gonzalez and FQ Mom's channels. Again, that's FQ Mom on YouTube and I Am Super Bianca on YouTube. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, now it's time to get you guys involved. Where's my co-host? Let's go.
All right, let's go. So hello everyone again. Now, I know we did promise our chance for our guest to win a bunch of raffle prizes.
Yes.
So without further ado, let us now present our winners. Let's flash it on the screen. If you see your face, your names.
Your name.
You won a complete set of FQ Mom books and a G Invest starter pack. So don't worry.
You go.
People in our team will come in touch with you after the program. So congratulations to our winners here today.
Yes, the first 13 winners are there. The next ones will be announced in just a bit. We'd also like to take this time to thank again our sponsor Gcash for providing the G Invest starter pack for our raffle winners today. So thank you so much for helping this book launch become a success.
All right. So now at this point, Bianca Gonzalez isn't the only well-wisher, isn't the only friend that we're going to be hearing from today. It's now time for us to hear from some of the other supporters, colleagues of FQ Mom throughout the year. So we'll have a lot. Tune in for that. We'll be hearing from former Deputy BSP Governor Diwa Gunigundo. We have Philippine National Bank or PNB President Wick Veloso, the Ateneo de Manila University Dean and Professor of Economics at the School of Social Sciences, Nandi Aldaba, and we also have TV host, actor, and model Robbie Domingo. So with that, let's hear it from those people.
Congratulations, Rose, on this launch of your great book, FQ Book 2. Now, I cannot agree more with your title that indeed, financial education alone does not work. Particularly in parts 1 and 2, you are right. And I agree completely that financial education is not Shakespeare's be-all and end-all of monetary problems. It's not the solution to lack of money to smoothen our own consumption patterns. I have to thank you for supporting this argument with science. You know, the cited research entitled The Effect of Financial Literacy and Financial Education on Downstream Financial Behavior was spot on. Only 0.1% of the change in financial behaviors with weaker effects in low-income samples could be traced to literacy interventions. That's very unfortunate. Now, what is also appalling is that whatever one learned from this program seems to disappear over time and forgotten after 20 months. There is no lasting impact. Now, Rose, you added value when you trace this interesting result to human behavior. And I have to thank you for clarifying to everyone that our brain can make decisions first based on emotion and the other on rationality. Sometimes we think fast, at other times we think slow. Now, precisely, I think this is the inspiration of Daniel Kahneman's thinking fast and slow. Now, I also like part 3 of your book, where you asked whether one is more of a mock or rational or more of an emo or emotional. Now here, the psychology of money comes in to show some fallacies and illusions involved in handling money. Now, thank you for dwelling on each of the 16 principles. That was extremely useful. Now, what is also interesting is that your application extends beyond economics and finance. For instance, loss aversion is as relevant on money matters as on love life. Now, because loss weighs more heavily than gain, good friends who could have made a great couple ended up with partners to whom they could hardly relate. So, framing effect actually goes to the root of many governance problems, including pandemic mitigation. Now, it looks like public policy is driven by the problem that our authorities wish to solve. But because of denial, authorities continue to call for simply opening up the economy and lifting up restrictions on mobility without first strengthening our public health system. That's the root. So you did a splendid job, Rose, and therefore I should say that book 2 deserves a third. By the way, my ME score is 8812. Now, despite my familiarity with behavioral economics, I'm particularly pulled down by loss aversion bias and ego depletion. So hats off, Rose, and God bless you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vic Veloso, President and CEO of Philippine National Bank, and currently the President of the Bankers Association of the Philippines. First, I'd like to congratulate Rose Fausto for her very wonderful book. Napakaganda. Why Financial Education Alone Does Not Work. I would like to share with you that what really impressed and got me here is the point where the emotional part of the brain always wins over the analytical part. That is very true. As a matter of fact, we've got a saying when I used to trade markets in the past. It's folly to be sane when the rest of the world is crazy. And Rose really got it. It's in this book. And it's really good for us to understand behavioral economics, because this is how we'll be able to really know how to manage our investments, how to manage our financial future. To Rose, very good. Congratulations. Well done. Looking forward to have a good interaction about what's next. What are you having as a next topic for your incoming book? But one thing is certain, this is going to be a hit. I'll ask my friends and colleagues in the industry to check this out. So good job again, and stay safe, Take care, everyone.
Hello, everyone. First of all, congratulations to Rose for her very interesting book entitled When Financial Education Alone is Not Enough, a crash course in behavioral economics. This is actually the second book of a trilogy. As you can see on your screen, my Mac Emong score or ME score is positive 18.75. If you haven't read the book yet, you will not know what the Mac Emong score is. To put it briefly, my positive score means that the rational me is dominant over the emotional me in many aspects of financial decision making. This is probably because I was trained for many years in traditional and mainstream economics. On the left of your screen, you also see one important message of the book about real economics. Sometimes I am also guilty of rigidly sticking to traditional theories and principles of economics. But the book will tell us that we must actually observe ourselves, how we actually behave and make financial decisions. And this is what Rose calls real economics, the economics of real people. I'm already a professor of economics, but I still learned a lot from this book. So if you haven't gotten one yet, be quick since the stocks may run out soon. Congratulations again, Rose. I will be eagerly awaiting your third book. Thanks.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Robbie Domingo, inviting everyone to get a copy of the FQ Book 2, named The Psychology of Money. Of course, written by our FQ mom, Tita Rose. Tita Rose, you are the best talaga, as she breaks down all the concepts into terms which can be understood by everyone. Galing. What struck me the most is that every one of us has this duality of having a Mac and Emong side. And to learn more about that one, you should get a copy of this book and flip the pages as you learn more about your buying patterns, how to invest properly, and in the process, you learn how to invest not just financially, but in yourself, in your family, and in your future as well. My score actually is, I am a 58 and 42. I'm a 58 and 42. Tita Rose, what does it mean? Please, I need to talk to you very, very soon. And congratulations once again, okay? Looking forward to FQ book number 3 and to all of the programs that you will be part of. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. All right, thank
There
you
were a lot
again.
of messages, There were so many good messages.
Oo,
I mean,
oo.
note that how former BSP Deputy Gov Diwa Ginugundo said how it's not just about money, saving, and investing. Even in relationships, diba?
Mm-mm.
Are you gonna cross the friend zone to
Oo.
more? I mean,
There's
there's
a
a lot.
there's a lot of principles that you can relate to. And I think, and you know, we've faced this a lot growing up now. Many money lessons, you get to really apply that. Again, I keep going back to how this book is really getting to know yourself better. So yes, it's going to help your financial life and your FQ journey, but of course the other aspects as well. And speaking of helping your FQ journey, let us move on to our next batch of raffle winners. And all these people are going to be guided and given aid to help their FQ journey with, of course, a G Invest starter pack worth 1,000 pesos. So congratulations if you see your name on the screen to all these winners. Congratulations. Someone from the FQ team will be contacting you to get your details and explain how you guys can claim your prize. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So for those who were able to see, if you saw your name, just wait. We will be contacting you separately. So okay, what's next, Anton?
Okay, so again, thank you to our sponsor Gcash for that, helping people with their FQ journeys. But before we hear from the effervescent FQ mom, let's hear some more of her supporters and other people she's worked with over the years. But before that, I just wanted to quickly say that the FQ mom would I keep saying the FQ mom. Mama would really tell us how she enjoys hearing these messages. So even if you know these people, the ones giving videos, they're celebrities, they're people with positions and high-ranking positions. She really loves all these. Every single message she gets, she describes it as food for her soul. Okay, so if you do have anything you want to ask or share her, you can easily reach her through her social media accounts. But now let us go to this video. We have the country head of ING Philippines, Hans Sikat, former finance secretary Cesar Purisima, former president of Sun Life Riza Mantaring, and preacher in jeans Bo Sanchez for this video for the FQ Mom.
Congratulations to Rose Fausta, and I guess with a lot of cheerleading support from husband Marvin Fausta, on this double book, Why Financial Education Alone Doesn't Work, and The Psychology of Money. The main focus of the book is that behavioral economics, which really point to how humans react to their environment and different stimuli, actually determine choices that we make. And of course, these include choices that affect our economic and financial well-being. The field is not new, but has only become more popular lately as economic models have been found lacking in explaining what's going on. It's interesting to note that the Nobel Prize in Economics has now been awarded to 6 individuals whose work are considered seminal in the behavioral economics field. The book mentions Professor Richard Thaler, who is the most recent recipient of the award in this field. As a graduate student, I first heard of Herbert Simon's bounded rationality focus, and later read about Gary Becker's comments on consumer behavior. What caught my eye, and probably the public at large, was a book written by another Nobel laureate, Daniel Kahneman, about a decade ago. It was called Thinking Fast and Slow, and was a New York Times bestseller. He was awarded the Nobel Prize with his colleague Amos Tversky. They talked about anchoring bias, and what was fascinating was that these two were trained psychologists, not economists. One of my favorite authors, Michael Lewis, wrote about this partnership in a book called The Undoing Project. In the last few years, we've listened to Robert Shiller talk about the effects on asset prices and volatility. He made the term irrational exuberance popular. I'm sure you're familiar with the Cape-Shiller Index if you follow the US stock market. So how do all of these relate to Rose's double book? First, Rose explains a number of the concepts driving behavioral economics, not in theoretical mumbo-jumbo, but rather citing a lot of easy-to-follow and day-to-day examples. They're easy to relate to, and therefore the concepts are understandable. Second, by tying these into the reader's own behavior, she helps you discover if you are, and I quote, a rational Mac, or 2, an emotional imam. Determining such would assist individuals understand why they do certain things, and perhaps even modify certain behaviors for the better. I know she asked me to take the ME test, but I haven't had the time. In addition, I've only taken tests recently if my job depended on it. However, perhaps you can guess which category I fall into. Again, congratulations on the book launch, and best of luck in reaching a wide number of people. Thank you.
Congratulations, Rose, on the launch of your FQ Mom Book 2. Financial literacy is a key component of financial inclusion, especially in a country with an unbanked population of more than 70%. I have always been a firm believer in the power and promise of finance to unlock development opportunities, address some of the world's most pressing challenges, and empower people to achieve their fullest potential. But this will not be a reality if Filipinos remain in the dark about how best to manage their relationship with money. Especially now with virtually every economy suffering a downturn due to the pandemic, with the advent of many digital financial technologies, it makes sense to educate the public on how to increase our financial intelligence quotient. This is why I have been a long-time admirer of Rose's commitment to promoting financial literacy, especially through the lens of building healthy and happy families through smart and responsible parenthood. The financial well-being of Filipino families needs to be at the forefront of our pursuit to build meaningful lives. For being at the forefront of this mission, Rose, you and your family are doing our communities a great service. Thank you and congratulations on the launch of your book. And may you educate more families to live purposeful and empowered lives.
FQ Book 2 is highly engaging and informative. I found myself smiling several times while reading it, as I realized why I wasn't making as much on my investments as I should have been. I'm 78% Mac, but the 22% Emong in me has a disproportionate impact. I wish the chapters in this book could be made into a series of webtoons so that they can reach more people. And for Rose, I wish that on your 35th anniversary, you would get a complete and bigger diamond from Marvin. My very best wishes and congratulations on another great book.
I read a lot of books, but I want everyone to know that this book is super amazing. Rose, I want to congratulate you. You have made me realize what a horrible decision maker I am. And you have exposed and unearthed many and defined. Basically, that's what it is. Like I know that there's something wrong with how I made decisions, but then you put a label, you explained it to me. And so I'm going to be reading and rereading your book. And I just want to be a better decision maker in my finances, in my work, in my ministry, in my relationships, my family. Thank you. What a gift. This book is an amazing gift. And I hope that I'll be a better decision maker, and I hope that I'll be a better human being. Rose, keep on writing, keep on teaching. We need you. Keep on blessing the world. Thank you so much, Rose. Congratulations.
Wow. Grabe. I mean, those are really some really good messages. I especially like the part about the 35th anniversary ring. So we also heard from the likes of Bo Sanchez, Cesar Purisima. So we really see how even across not just industry titans, but even people such as preachers are able to see the value in this. And I hope everyone here today can also have a chance of being able to see how the FQ Book 2 can really help your life. So to be the one to introduce our main speaker, allow me to call on the founding president of the Fund Managers Association of the Philippines. He is now a consultant to COL Financial, the largest online stockbroker, and president of the COL Investment Management Inc., or CMI. Allow me to introduce my idol, aka my dad, Marvin Fausto.
Hi. Thank you very much, guys. Kita nyo naman, family affair. All the boys are here. Siyempre, ako may role din, the dad. So, well, anyway, you heard a lot of people talk already, and I'm not going to add a few more, but I'm just so honored and excited and happy to introduce to you the woman of the hour, of course. And it's not because she is a writer, a columnist, an author of best-selling books, or a speaker, or a Gallup strength coach and behavioral economist. It's not just because of that. It's because she is a mother of our 3 sons. And of course, my wife and my best friend. And I'm just so happy and so glad that she wrote this book. Hard work talaga. And very thankful. I'm sure those people who read this book will help them make better decisions on their finances, make better decisions on their lives. So with that, I would like to ask everyone, with all of your rational Mac and irrational Emong, let's all welcome the woman of the hour, the love of my life, and the author, Rose Fresh Fausto. Yay! Woot, woot, woot.
Hello. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Oh, grabe. So excited. Thank you to everyone who spoke earlier for your kind words and encouragement. Governor Saite Tangco, Deputy Governor Diwa, Wick Veloso, Nandi Aldaba, Robbie Domingo, Hans Sicat, Cesar Purisima, Risa Mantaring, Bo Sanchez, Bianca Gonzalez, John Bashirs, and Dan Ariely. And of course, thank you po sa inyong lahat who are with me right now. Thank you for carving out 1 hour of your nakakahilo na and very hectic Zoom schedules these days. Thank you also to those who are joining us on Facebook Live at ABS-CBN Books, FQ Mom, BDJ, and Crazy About Paper. And of course, my special thanks to GCash, particularly G Invest Group, for being our sponsor in this event. Maraming salamat po. Today is March 19, 2021. It would have been the 91st birthday of my mamang, and in a few days, it will be her 4th anniversary in heaven. I remember her dearly today, not just because it's her birthday today, but because she is really the great influence in my life in making me believe that being frugal is cool. And in fact, spending beyond your means is so uncool. And she also taught me one more lesson aside from being frugal. And that is sometimes we need to tell the truth, even if it is not popular to do so. In FQ Book 2, I take that risk of being unpopular. I call out that most popular answer to our money problems, which is financial education, and say that it doesn't work. Financial education does not work in the way we all want and hope for it to work. It is not the answer to our money problems. Honestly, I really hope it were. We teach you personal finance and you're all set. Unfortunately, there's no empirical evidence that shows that financial education works to solve our money problems. In fact, study shows that the positive effect of financial education on our financial behavior is a minuscule 0.1%. Think about that. Magpapabakuna ka ba kung ang efficacy ay 0.1% lang? The first time I read about that meta-analysis on the effect of financial education on our financial behavior, I was really surprised. I was shocked and even skeptical. I thought it was a typographical error, pero hindi eh. And when I studied it further, I realized, parang tama nga ito. Diba? Kadalasan naman, alam na natin kung anong dapat natin gawin. For example, when it comes to handling your money, I always talk about the 3 basic laws of money. Number 1, pay yourself first. Number 2, get only into a business that you understand. Number 3, and seek advice only from competent people. And then number 3, make your gold work for you and make an army of golden slaves before you buy luxury. Simple, right? Yet simple is not always easy. And it goes the same when it comes to health, for instance. Meron din tayong 3 basic laws of a healthy life, di ba? Eat well, sleep well, and exercise regularly. Is there any adult who does not know these 3 basic laws of health? I guess none. But look where we are. Look where our general health condition is. Is there anyone who cannot understand the 3 basic laws of money that I earlier enumerated? I guess none. But even if they master these 3 basic laws, and even if they ace their financial literacy classes that will be mandated by the government, they will still end up with a lot of money problems. And there would be no difference between that who took the classes and that who didn't. Ang lungkot, di ba? And it's so sad if we are going to put our finite resources in financial literacy programs that will not work. So bakit ganito? Bakit alam na nga natin, tinuro na sa atin, naintindihan na natin, pero di pa rin natin magawa? To lighten up this speech of mine, I will just share with you the meme of the FQ Book 2. It goes like this. Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? So let's just imagine that we're in a nice ballroom of a 5-star hotel and I'm going to ask you, kasi it sounds like a rap, di ba? I-rap nga natin to sabay-sabay. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? Okay, I'll just assume na sinabayan niyo ako and you even laughed at me, but please, let's just give me a big hand for that rap performance. Okay ba? So, bakit nga ba? Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? It's because of our human wiring. At the start of the book, I give you a short lesson on biology. Talk about the brain. There is that part of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. That's our rational brain. When I give you a math problem, that's a part of your brain that you use. And there's also that limbic system, our emotional brain. That is the seat of all our emotions. And this is responsible for switching the fight or flight reaction. So, question, guess which part of the brain financial education targets? It's our prefrontal rational brain. And guess which part of the brain drives our behavior? It's our emotional limbic system. So this is the reason why there is a huge gap between our knowledge and our behavior. And this is the reason kung bakit gets ko na pero di ko pa rin magawa. The reason also why we should all use the principles of behavioral economics in dealing with our important matters such as money, health, career, relationships. Behavioral economics is simply the fusion of the traditional economics, which always assumes that the consumer acts rationally, and psychology, which studies our actual behavior. Behavioral economics sounds a little bit intimidating, and that's the reason why I created Makatwirang Mak and Emotional Emong, so that we can understand all those principles without nosebleed, ika nga. FQ Book 2 brings down the highfalutin, Ivy League-ish terms such as loss aversion, sunk cost fallacy, hyperbolic discounting, and many more to mainstream language. Alam mo, dream ko talaga na yung regular Juans and Juanas mag-uusap ng ganito. Sabihin na isa, about investing. Pare, ibenta mo na yung basura stocks mo. Nasa sunk cost fallacy ka lang. Yung mga ganon. Or kung minsan naman, yung mga girls, sasabihin ng isa, nako girl, tigilan mo na yung kaka-YOLO-YOLO mo. Ano ngayon kung seat sale, wala ka pang savings? Ayan, hyperbolic discounting lang yan. Present bias lang yan. Huwag ka masyadong YOLO-YOLO, you only live once. You should also remember, yago, you also grow old. So, yun talaga yung dream ko na parang maging mainstream language, itong mga Ivy League na kind of highfalutin behavioral economics principles. You know, in the book, as you go from one behavioral bias to the next, you will give yourself your me score, your Mac-Emong score. That way, you know where to protect yourself. You know, some have asked me, Rose, what's a good me score? And to that I answer, it's the honest me score. You should answer the question, how are you affected by these behavioral biases? Hindi yung, do you understand these behavioral biases? And you know, you just have to remember na ako mismo, I've been studying this for a decade now. And guess what my me score is? It's 41.59. So I'm leaning towards Emong. I guess the regular rational person is around 40-60. But what does that mean? Does it mean that when you're more Emong that you cannot have a high FQ? Fortunately, the answer is no. Your me score is just your rational/emotional temperament, your natural tendency. And the more you know, and the more you are honest about it, the more you can safeguard your decision-making and behavior. Like for instance, in my case, when it comes to ego depletion, medyo matindi yung Emong ko doon. I'm 30-70 in terms of ego depletion. I know that it's hard for me to make sound decisions and even be nice if I'm hungry. I'm just like the judges that I discuss in a study in the book. Do you know that when your parole case is being talked about, pag gutom na yung mga judges, chances are you will not get a parole. You get higher chances of getting a parole pagbusog ang mga judges at the start of the session or right after lunch. Things like that. So, after you assess your own me scores in all 16 behavioral biases discussed in the book, you can now protect yourself from your own weaknesses. And that's what we should all do. Let's determine our respective me scores so that we can protect ourselves from ourselves. And this is my call to those who may not like the thought that our favorite solution, financial education, to our money problems doesn't work. Please read the book. Understand why sometimes you might feel that those whom you've given financial education to actually improve their financial behavior. Understand that there are so many other factors affecting the behavior. Remember that correlation is not causation. Yes, financial education still needed, but we should not count on it as the solution to our money problems. You see, it appears to be the most intuitive and intellectually attractive solution to the problem. It is very enticing, it's very seductive, even profitable for some, including myself. And it's very convenient to the institutions responsible for solving the problem. If we put all these elements together, it's so easy for us to agree and just convince ourselves that that's the win-win solution to our money problems. Except that we won't be able to help the guy whose problem we are trying to solve. The problem is that if we continue to count on financial education as the solution to our money problems, we will just be wasting limited resources, bring false hopes and undue confidence, make us put the blame on the wrong things, and distract us from addressing the real problem more effectively. Like what's been happening to our public school teachers who are buried in debt. No wonder they once had a rally and they had this big banner that said, financial literacy is not the solution to our problem. It is bothersome to think how financial literacy programs are expected to result in educated consumers who can handle their own insurance, their own credit, investment, retirement planning, etc. Just because they are given numerous options to choose from in the free market. Can we really expect the regular one to understand all these hybrid products offered with varying stages of complexity? No standardized way of even expressing the interest rates. No easy to understand ano ba ang investment component dito, what are the commission rates, what are the forfeiture clauses, and the like. If we don't expect our regular one to be his own doctor and to be his own lawyer or legal advisor, why should we expect a lot from him when it comes to handling his money? Think about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm offering FQ Book 2 as my gift to the Filipino community and the world. I hope that by trying to come up with this fun way of understanding complex matters about money behavior, I'll be able to help you understand and focus on the right things in solving our behavior. I promise you it's an easy read. It's an easy read. After reading this book and giving yourselves your honest me scores, you will never be the same again. You will be able to catch yourselves and even your loved ones and label those behavioral biases that's making it harder for you to do the right thing. Sasabihin nyo, uy, loss aversion lang yan. Uy, confirmation bias yan. Uy, illusion of control yan. You'll be able to incorporate pauses so that you can make the right decisions that are good for you, not just your present self, but also your future self. Knowing your biases will help you design the correct default choices, making it easier for you to always do the right thing more effortlessly. Why waste your precious willpower when you can automate things? And the good news is this: behavioral economics principles are not just applicable in money matters. They are also applicable in our love life, our health, relationships, career, and the other important aspects of our life. So again, I invite everyone to read FQ Book 2 to have all these benefits. Let's all embrace our duality, our mak and emongness, our miscourse with pride, and live more meaningful lives. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I think now we have some time for a few questions. So if anybody here in the Zoom call would like to ask a question, can we just ask you to turn your cameras on and raise your hand? But while you're thinking of your questions, we have some questions that were sent in. Let's start with something pretty basic lang. Why must millennials read this book?
Ayun,
Millennials.
kanina, di ba? Yung isang example ko, yung pa-YOLO, di ba? So millennials, you are so known for being YOLO. Now, if you understand your human wiring, you'll be able to protect yourself. So if you're super hyperbolic discounting person or so present bias. Di ba? If you now understand this, you can incorporate some things like yung pay yourself first. It can easily be done by automating your saving and investing.
Okay. Do we have anyone from our Zoom call here who would like to ask a question? Anyone? we have a lot of questions that were sent in. This one, here from Abby. She's asking, what's your feedback on people who don't want to invest or grow their money because life is too short naman? It's related nga dun sa what you were talking about, yung YOLO.
Yeah, it's so hyperbolic discounting. It's so present bias. So they would always say, "Nako, baka mamaya save ka ng save. Hindi ka naman mabubuhay." Parang gano'n, ano? But what I can only say to those who use that kind of reasoning is that it's not as easy as that kasi you will be burdening your loved ones, 'di ba? Hindi mo naman papabayaan yung kamag-anak mo o yung dear friend mo na maggutom, 'di ba? And also be burdening the country, the government in general, because you will now be a burden to society. And who wants to live a life like that? We all want to be productive members of society, 'di ba?
Okay. We have another question. This one. How to deal with a wife? I'm guessing this is from a husband. How to deal with a wife who has an opposite view of handling money from you?
Oh,
good question.
maganda yan. Alam mo.
Very challenging.
Mag-FQ Book 1 kayo.
Together.
Mag-FQ Book 1 kayo together because there are a lot of exercises there that will really encourage you to be on the same page. May mga exercises doon about your childhood money memory. Tapos magkakaalaman kayo kung ano yung mga core values nyo, yung mga goals nyo, para hindi na nagsisisihan na masyado kang gastador. So, ang tanong na lang ni Honey, by doing that, maa-attain ba natin ang ating mga life dreams and goals? Ganun na lang. And of course, FQ Book 2 ang isunod nyo para nagkakaintindihan kayo kung ano yung mga respective vulnerabilities and weaknesses ninyo.
Okay. I think we have time for a few more questions. This one, if we talked about a marriage already, people who are married, ito naman, what's the most important financial advice you want to give young people planning to get married? We know naman that it's been happening a lot also during the pandemic. We're having smaller weddings. What would be your advice to those people?
So first of all, kung carry nyo na mag-pandemic wedding, go. Mas matipid, mas konti. And this one also, I'd like you to really be aware of what you're getting into. Read the family code. Tignan nyo kung ano yung the governing law of the way you will now be owning properties. Diba? Before 1986 kasi it was the conjugal law of property. Nas ngayon, absolute community of property niya. Alamin nyo dapat na kasi kumisa sasabihin pa ng iba, what is his, is he, what is hers? Hers, may mga ganyan-ganyan effect. Hello, wala yan. If you don't sign a prenuptial agreement, you are not just one heart and soul. You are one balance sheet. Kaya kahit na hindi mo pinapakita sa asawa mo yung mga kaperahan at ari-arian mo, he or she actually co-owns everything. So yun ang aking advice. And of course, really, to be on the same page. Alam nyo, yung pera, it's a fuel and it's like oxygen. I always use oxygen as a good analogy kasi sabi nga ng iba, sa amin hindi na kami nagbibilangan. Well, okay lang kung wala kayong problema. So, di ba the oxygen, like now we're breathing normally.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't even think about oxygen. But once the supply runs out,
Yes.
so don't wait for that.
Okay. Oh, we have an interesting question here. We mentioned about it's Lola's birthday today. This is a question from Kate of Random Republica. She's asking, what's a money habit or financial concept you developed because of your mom's influence?
Si Mamang, she would always tell us before, live within your means but enjoy the fruits of your labor. So, kahit na nagtitipid, di ba, ayaw naman niya nung medyo payagit-yagit ka ng
Kawawa.
Oo. So enjoy the fruits of your labor. But there is a right time to do that. And that's actually basic law number 3, which is make an army of gold before you buy luxury. And I have an FQ Mom guideline. Of course, you may know that.
Yeah, of course. So before you buy luxury, you have to be able to afford 10 pieces of it. So add a zero. Kung di mo kaya 10 times, don't. Yun lang kasi.
Luxury naman.
Luxury.
Oh, this one is coming from Evelyn. It's related to the book. What is the difference of book 1 and book 2? And should we buy them together?
Pwede. This is a trilogy. Siguro ikwento ko, Enrique, kung anong nangyari. FQ was supposed to be a single book. And then, back in 2016, when I asked my favorite critics, the men in my life, Marvin, Martin, Enrique, and Anton, when they read the manuscript, sabi nila, parang nagmamadali ka. Parang nawala daw yung usual tone ko na storytelling. So, and it was because siniksik ko lahat sa isang libro. And then when I really assessed their opinion, sabi ko, they're right. So I tried to figure out how to make it the way I really talk. Di ba, ang drama ko nga sa buhay, gusto ko in easy to understand language. So I decided to come up with 3 books. So the first one, FQ Book 1, FQ The Anti-Intelligence, it talks about your relationship with money and the core values. It really makes you go deep into yourself so that you understand why you relate to money the way you do right now. Tapos gusto ko rin i-align nyo yan sa core values nyo. And then ito namang FQ Book 2, it's really a deep dive now on how our human wiring is. Kaya na parang nakakataranta, di ba, yung pag sinabi mong, bakit naintindihan ko nga pero hindi ko pa nagagawa? And most of the time, we beat up ourselves. Sasabihin natin, I'm not disciplined.
I'm not good.
Or nagja-judge tayo. Naku, napakakulang sa disiplina na Hindi nag-iipon, ganyan-ganyan. So now, if you understand those biases that affect the way you deal with money, maiintindihan, ito lang pala yun. Tapos, ang maganda rin kasi doon, mawawala rin yung palusot na tao lang po. Hoy, lahat tayo may Mac at saka may Emong. That's what we should all remember. We just have to allow our Mac to surface a little bit more. And if we know that we are weak on one factor, yun, magagawa natin ng paraan. Ikaw, anong score mo? Alam na ba?
Yeah, mine was 49.51.
Wow.
So,
sakto.
Medyo halos almost 50-50. But I think the nice thing about it was you have to acknowledge both are there.
Yes.
But you can use the right credit. I'll use my Mac before the decision is there. Before it's the game time to decide. Kasi if my Mac was ahead, tas na-set na niya, na-preset na niya yung decision, kahit na andito na yung decision point, andyan na si Emong, Emong would have won, pero naunahan na siya ni Mac. So, okay, so we're good.
Okay, understood. This one is asking about the book again in the future naman. Sabi ni Andre, is there a teaser for the final chapter of the FQ trilogy? I know we're launching pa lang book 2, but is there anything that you can share when it comes to this final chapter in the trilogy?
Yeah. Alam mo, kadalasan nga pag tinatanong ako, when is book 3 coming out? Lalo na pag na-excite. Parang sagot ko doon, kayo naman kakapanganak ko lang. Ibinyag pa ako, sasabihin mo na, kailan mo susundan yung anak mo? Di ba? Parang ganon. Anyway, but I've also written there that FQ Book 3 is actually, that the title will be high FQ by design. So ito na po yung mga little things talaga that we can do in our environment, in our everyday life, so that it will be a little bit more effortless to do the right thing so that we will have a financially well life. Hindi na tayo yung namumroblema. Alam nyo, pagtandaan nyo, kami ni Honey, matanda na kami, may sakit na yung mga kasukasuan mo. Ayaw mo na namumroblema ka sa pera, di ba?
Okay, let's move on to our next question. This is coming from Kares. And you know, maybe Enrique or even Papa could answer this also. Hi, Miss Rose. As a financial expert, and since you are married to one, what do you think of investing in cryptocurrency and other speculative stocks?
I answered it na.
Ikaw na sasagot, Honey? O kayo na ni Enrique?
Sabi na niya it's speculation So, speculation is not investing. So, diba? Yung cryptocurrency and speculative stock, pang laro-laro lang yan. It's not really for investing. So, don't mix it up. It's a different thing. So, we don't encourage it. It's just for play.
Okay.
I guess just to add, so syempre for the younger ones, if you do want to risk it, you can, but as long as it's controlled. Meaning, if you know your balance sheet, you know how much money you have, you don't want to put such a big amount there. When people ask me, okay, try it out, sabi ko, okay, up to 1% of your total portfolio, you can try out on maybe Bitcoin. But just know na whatever you're putting in there, you may lose everything. So it has to be an amount na even if you lose everything, okay ka pa rin. Diba?
But you know, this is what we should say. We're not hating on cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's really the wave of the future.
I actually tried.
Yeah, it is the wave of the future. And if you can do some transactions using cryptocurrency at a lower cost, yung hindi ka na out hindi ka maululugi, then do so. Kasi ang dami mo rin natitipid on fees, di ba?
Yep.
Especially from all over the world yan.
But of course, you always have to remind everyone, basic law number 2, get only into business you understand. So if you don't understand cryptocurrencies, don't.
Okay, this is from Flo. I thought this was mentioned in the book. On retail therapy, we always say deserve because I work hard naman or stressed ako. Where do you draw the line kung valid ba siya o hindi?
Ganon din ang sagot ko. As long as you're observing basic law number 3, which is to delay your gratification, then go ahead. Kung napapahappy po kayo sa pag-shopping, basta you are not sacrificing the college education fund of your child or your emergency fund. Hindi po emergency ang sale. So wag niyong gagamitin ang emergency fund niyo sa pag-sale just because, di ba dami ng sale ngayon?
Oh, every month.
Yes.
Every nagdodoble yung meron.
That's right.
So yun lang.
Okay, here, this one from Grace. Do you think that government programs providing microfinance loans at low or no interest loans somehow draws people na mangutang pa even more?
So, ngayong pandemic, medyo kailangan yan. And that's the reason also na binababaan nila yung interest rate. Alam mo, dito ko nga gusto sanang mailagay, and I'm sure this is part of my FQ Book 3, that there should be a just-in-time education. So, for example, yung mga grade 12, tinuruan natin ng Finance 101, di ba? Pero hindi pa naman bibili yan ng mga bahay. Hindi pa kukuha ng mga mortgages or other kinds of loans, no? So, I want sana kung meron tayong right in time, kung ito na yung panahon na kukuha ka ng mga ganyang klaseng loan, meron din sanang mga pa-test, di ba? So, para fresh pa sa mind nila at naiintindihan talaga nila what they are getting into. Hindi lang pa band-aid. They can now see the bigger picture. And their education is really fresh and applicable.
Yeah, I think to also add to the microfinance discussion, whatever the source of the loan is, through microfinance, through your credit card, or from the banks, it'll only be good or bad based on how you use it. If you're borrowing money to buy things on sale, wherever it came from, that's bad.
Yes.
If it's just for things that are just, you're spending what you don't have. But
Gastang pulbos, sabi ni Lola Selly.
So if it's for example, borrowing money to build a business or to create more income, then through microfinance or what, that could actually be a good way to do so.
Okay. And also, relating to the question a while ago, Luis said, Will, nasagot na rin, basta na-happy ka sa purchase. Thank you. Kasi nag-guilty ako minsan. Pero minsan lang naman.
Okay.
Yes. We have been receiving a lot of questions. They're all related. They're asking about financial problems during the pandemic. What is your advice to families na nakaka-encounter ngayon ng mga problema financially because of the pandemic?
I would always say that you have to rally around your family. Dapat meron kayong family meeting and discuss kung ano talaga ang estado nyo, no? And when you do so, medyo, lalo na if you have little kids, bawasan lang yung dramatics. And this is very important. You have to make it appear to them that this is something temporary. Parang gawin nyo siyang project so that everybody would pitch in, lahat tutulong, mag-iisip how to save on mga electricity, water bill, at makakaisip yung mga yan, kahit bata, how to earn and add to the family income.
Through selling whatever
Yes,
online, ganyan. Marami na lumalabas na ganun ngayon.
Okay. There are still a lot of questions, but then we don't have that much time. And if I'm sure the FQ Mom would want to talk to you guys, hear what you have to say about the book and all your questions. But to end it, and with our last question, just for this live, it's related also, where can they buy the book now?
Okay, so this book, aliw na aliw ako dito, 2-in-1 book. It can be bought sa ABS-CBN outlets, I think Shopee and Lazada. And also in Belle de Jour and Crazy About Paper, and also fqmom.com, just click books. At meron akong pala, siguro banggitin ko na if there are any corporations there who are listening, because some have already availed of this promo for the month of March. If you purchase a minimum of 100 copies of FQ Book 2, you get a 1-hour session with the author for that group of people that you gave your books to. So may libre kayong book.
Wow. Okay. And I have one question, ma'am. My question for you. What would be your message to all the potential readers of this new book?
My message is enjoy your high FQ journey with Mac and Emong. Try to take this opportunity to have fun and really assess yourself. Embrace your duality, your Macness. Carry your me score with pride and use the tools that you've learned in order to live a meaningful life more effortlessly.
Okay.
FQ pa rin.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everybody who joined us here. To those who watch us live on Facebook, to those who join us here in the Zoom call, everyone who asked questions. Again, if you have more questions, you can just contact her on social media. Before we end, can I ask everybody to turn their cameras on so that we can have a group picture? And while you're turning your cameras on, again, we want to thank Gcash because they helped make this possible. And with G Invest, you can learn not only the importance of investing, but you can actually put this into practice. All you need is one valid ID, and you can own a piece of local companies like Ayala and Globe, and even global tech companies like Amazon, Apple, and Google. Kung noon, you needed a very big account to do this. Now you can do it easily through Gcash, and you can help them dabble in different type of funds. All you need is as little as 50 pesos for local funds and 1,000 pesos for global funds. Okay, do we have everybody here on with their cameras?
Wow. Yon.
Okay, everybody, let's look at the camera and smile in 1, 2, 3. Okay, keep smiling, keep smiling.
Hey, baby girl.
There are multiple screens. He's smiling.
Yan. And everybody, please give yourselves, not just FQ Mom, but please give yourselves a round of applause for being here, for taking that step in your FQ journey. We would love to thank you guys for the support. We wish that you guys can contact us, talk to us more about what you think about this book, and of course for the future book in the next part of the trilogy. Again, Where can you get this book? It will be made available through the FQ Mom website, fqmom.com, and ABS-CBN outlets, Lazada on Shopee. You can also check it out at go.crazyaboutpaper.com. Okay, thank you very much. And we wish for you guys to have a great day ahead. We're looking forward to see you all in the succeeding book launches. Once again, my name is Anton.
I'm Enrique.
I'm FQ Mom, and let's all rap. Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa. Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa. Di ko.
Thank you, everyone.